class. You can have a copy of them when you are next in class, but I will also stick them in our Team OneNote so you can see them. The first thing we talked about is depreciation, and depreciation is calculated to spread the cost of an asset over time. Think of something that was worth a lot of money when you bought it, and over the time you used it, it's like your phone or your computer, over the time you used it, by the time you've finished wanting to use it and needed to replace it, it's not worth as much anymore. And so depreciation is the accounting way of allowing for the cost of using something over time as things slowly devalue. We need to use it in clubs because they have equipment that they will use and it will wear and tear, and they'll need to be able to kind of show the cost of using it over the time. So depreciation is an expense. It goes on the income statement or the activity statement if it is related to a specific activity that a club can do, such as if they run a tuck shop, then depreciation on the tuck shop oven would go in the activity statement. But usually depreciation on the club's assets like wear and tear on a netball court, that kind of thing, will usually go in the income statement. Depreciation also reduces the value of an asset. This is where we get into one of these complicated terms. They call it a contra asset account because accumulated depreciation, that's the depreciation that's been taken year after year and added up, reduces the value of the assets that's held by the club. And the idea is that those things slowly do become less valuable. So there's a note in the statement of financial position. It looks like this. It looks a little bit daunting. So we've got one here for a music club. They've got some musical equipment and they have a club room. So the musical equipment, that's their mics and their guitars and all the rest of it, is worth about $5,000. And over the time they've had $1,000 depreciation on them. That means that they've allowed that expected that much value to come out. Now what we need to do next in this little box down the bottom, the carrying amount is the amount that we started with minus the depreciation. So the carrying amount for the musical equipment is $4,000. Now if we do the same for the club rooms, the carrying amount for the club rooms is $40,000. So they've got $40,000 was the cost. That's what they paid for it when they bought it, less the depreciation. So over time they've realized that they get a little bit of wear and tear, and so they've taken off $13,000 as accumulated depreciation. So the carrying amount of the club rooms now is $27,000. So we put that in there. We also need to work out what's the total accumulated depreciation for all of our assets. So we've got $14,000, and the total value of carrying amount of the plant, property, and equipment is $31,000. And that number there is the one that you're going to use in the statement of financial position where it asks for the plant, property and equipment. We put in the carrying amount, so that's what they're worth about now. So if the club was to close and you're trying to sell everything, that's probably what they'd get for the things that they have. But it is just an estimate, and usually depreciation is used with some special tables and things that are set out by the Inland Revenue Department. So the important words you need to know: cost price is the amount that you paid when the asset was purchased. Carrying amount, how much you paid minus the accumulated depreciation, so the depreciation that's been added up year after year after year. Accumulated depreciation is the depreciation each year added together. So if you've had something and you took $1,000 depreciation each year, after 3 years you would have $3,000 in your accumulated depreciation. And then the depreciation expense, that's the one that goes in the income statement, is the amount of depreciation for the current year. I hope that makes sense. Thank you.